So this is your classic Scott Cooper movie. It's cold and everyone is miserable and whispery and grim.
We're catching up with The Pale Blue Eye, which is now on Netflix. It had a brief little theatrical run there at the end of the year for awards consideration. Alonzo, my dear, please tell us about it.
With enough patience, the suspect will often interrogate himself.
Christian Bale stars as Mr. Landor, Augustus Landor, so a sort of legendary New York detective. And we know this because the moment that he sets foot into the office of the guy running West Point in the late 19th century, we get a full exposition dump about everything he's ever done. Anyway, he has been called in to investigate a murder that has taken place. They're not sure if it's a suicide or a murder, but they do know the corpse was desecrated and the heart was removed. And so before the scandal gets out, they want to nip this in the bud and find out who did it. So Landor begins sussing out his suspects, both among the faculty and the students, and a student whom he finds some kinship with and who he commandeers to help him in the investigation. Young Edgar Allan Poe, played by Harry Melling, late of the Harry Potter series. And if you saw Please Baby Please last year, he was really terrific in that. And, you know, this is a guy who is already very sharp and very attentive and, you know, would basically invent the detective story later with the murders in the Rue Morgue, but is also given to, you know, neurasthenia and visions of his late mother. So this is your classic Scott Cooper movie. It's cold and everyone is miserable and whispery and grim. Gillian Anderson has some bonnets like I've never seen in a movie before.
And bustle. She's got the whole thing going on.
Full package, yes. This is one of those movies where, like, if you look at the IMDb page, almost everybody who plays a cadet is probably a male model because they're all real lippy and thin and cheekbony. And, you know, like he's cast a lot of interesting faces here. And then you have this, you know, hard drinking Christian Bale and, you know, friendly barmaid Charlotte Gainsbourg. I remember seeing somebody who was complaining about movies like Glass Onion where it was so distracting when like everybody's a celebrity. And I'm like, but there are movies that are built for that, like Glass Onion. And then a movie like this where like literally every person who has any kind of major role is like, oh, he's in this. Oh, she's in this, you know.
It's Toby Jones.
Exactly. Toby Jones and Simon McBurney and Timothy Spall and all these, you know, these character actors you recognize. Atmospherically, you know, this movie is on point. It is just like you feel the cold and the misery and you can just sense like where the draft is coming into every room that they walk into. I am not a fan of Scott Cooper. I find. Are
you not? So he's done Hostels
yes.
and Out of the Furnace and Crazy Heart, which won Jeff Bridges his Oscar.
Yeah, and Crazy Heart is fine, but like his other movies, I just find them to be so, you know, to use a word you like, self-serious. Like they're so invested in their own kind of like mighty fortitude,
like oppressively dreary.
Yes, that I almost find them campy in a way. Like there were some moments in this movie where like one of the big reveals happens where I kind of got the church giggles, and I don't think that's what they were going for here. So if you like his stuff, this is of a piece with Out of the Furnace and Hostels and stuff. But if you have always sort of cocked an eyebrow and not been down for what he's doing it again.
He is, but I liked this better than most of his films.
Okay.
And that solely has to do with, as you put it, the atmospherics of it. Masanobu Takeyanagi is the cinematographer here, and he has shot Scott Cooper's previous films, but he also shot The Gray. He shot that Swan Song, not the Udo Kier hairstylist one, but the Mahershala Ali one, which
Apple
was
Plus,
like really like minimalist and kind of ethereal and dreamlike. And he shot Stillwater and Spotlight. There's a fantastic, like really tactile contrast between like the snow and the bleakness of the barren trees in upstate New York, and then the blue of the West Point cadets uniforms against that. And over again, with various establishing shots, I'm like, whoa, that stunning. Like so much care went into making us feel that cold and feel that isolation. And it's not just to be pretty or to be striking. It's to capture a mood and to make us feel on edge and feel uncomfortable and to feel unsettled. And so I think that's really effective. And then the scenes inside of the pub, the tavern, where Christian Bale and Harry Melling go for their beers and their conspiratorial conversations and all that. Like that's warm too, but there's something kind of foreboding about those scenes as well. There's
shadowy.
Yeah, for sure. Having said that, this movie is super slow and boring until it's not. And then it gets nutty. It gets nutty. And I think I know what you're talking about with the, like, were we supposed to laugh here?
Yeah, when it gets off to the races, you're like, whoa, okay, movie,
And also I was like, oh, is that what we're doing here? Is that really what this is about? Are you sure? I like the interplay though between Christian Bale and Harry Melling. And I like Christian Bale better in this than I do in Amsterdam.
Well, that's a low bar, but yes.
I mean, they're kind of similar in some ways,
I'll
right?
say this. I like Christian Bale better in this than I do in the other two Scott Cooper movies he's been.
Okay.
Like, I think he's got a little more to work with, and there's more sort of levels to uncover, whereas I think there's a certain level of stoicism in the other ones where it's like exactly what you're getting.
Yeah, he gets to be a bit of a character here. Like, he's a bit of a drunk, and he's kind of like a playful detective, not on the level of like a Benoit Blanc, I'll say. But there's something kind of like he's enjoying the hunt of it.
The pursuit. Yes, exactly.
So I enjoyed him in this. Yeah, like a lot of the pieces are there. Like the costume design, I think, has to be intentionally crazy.
I'm thinking,
indicate who these people are.
True.
Right?
And when most of your characters are cadets, you do want to make the civilians pop somehow,
Yeah, I feel like the pieces were all there. It just didn't really come together for me. Having said that, I do like it better than other Scott Cooper movies. So I am saying 5.6.
Okay. Oh God, I'm the generous one now. I said 6.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I did like. I think everything you called out as being effective but it is ultimately kind of silly.
Maybe you're at a party and you don't want to stand around holding just a glass of water. You want to feel social and festive, feel like a part of things. Maybe you're thinking about doing dry January, but don't really know where to start, don't really know how to ease into it. The fine folks at Athletic Brewing Company can help you with that. They have these amazing alcohol-free beers. I love them. I drink them all the time. I've been sober for about 4.5 years now, and I have really come to love and reach for these quite frequently. I love the IPA. I love the Golden too. It's very light and crisp. They both taste great. And look how pretty the can is, you guys. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. It's so pretty. Check them out, Athletic Brewing Company. We have got a link to them down below in the description, and you can find out more and start the year off in a happy way. Enjoy.